Hi Shmee, I'm Guys! And yes, I seem to be losing my mind just a little bit, but hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me back in the UK at home in London for the first time in a while after the incredible Where's Shmee US Edition tour. Now it was actually about a week ago that I parked up the GT500 in Miami, said farewell to Florida and the US for now, and travelled back to the UK in line with the regulations, a test, catching a flight, having more tests, all negative, and with test to release will be out again very shortly. But today, having spent some time in isolation, unshaven and wearing a t-shirt from the Cheers by Shmee 150 store, I've got some very exciting and crazy news to share with you. I want to explain a little bit about what is going on here at the moment. We're going to take a look as well at my model car cabinet. We haven't had an update for about a year and a half and there are some new models in there. Some of you will know that I have this very nerdy replica collection of all of the former Shmeemobiles, but I also want to talk about two big things: the Shmuseum, what's happening, when are you going to see it, what about the new channel, and also the Shmeemobiles, where you know about the inbound M3 competition and the AMG GT Black Series, but there's something else imminently on the horizon to stay tuned for. So let's have a big update now that I'm back home. In advance of the Shmuseum, I've been trying to sort out a number of things, including my model cars, but also clearly some of my Lego as well, and this is not all of it. Now, if you've been following my social media pages and some of the videos, you'll have seen many of these things before, like the Technic Chiron, the Sian, this G63, which is a custom-made car as well, and there's even more over in the cabinet, but I think when we get over to the Shmuseum, this is going to need a whole display for itself, because down here, there are a lot of very cool models. I don't think you can ever be too old for Lego. It's suitable for all ages. What do we have? The Defender, 488 GTE, the Sian, the Chiron. This is really cool as well, signed by the design teams from both Bugatti and Lego themselves. We've got the 911s because you can build this into a turbo and a Targa. We've got the Fiat 500. We've got the Mercedes F1 team. We've got all sorts of different cars, the Jags. We've got the Ford GT, the race car, of course, all of the speed champions and the little models. We've got the F8. I've got a bunch of Ferraris, I think. 488 GT3 car, the F40, the Senna GTRs. We've got Dom's Charger, which is pretty cool as well, some of which are built up here, the Defender, the Sian. Now this G63, thanks to Noah L. Lego, is actually completely bespokely made. It's an MOC, a mock, which is really, really cool, in the exact colours of my G-Wagon. So I love all of this stuff, and I think it's going to look incredible when I get as much of it as possible over to the Shmuseum, along with things like this, which is of course my amalgam 1:8 scale of the Shmeemobile Senna, the most incredible thing. I don't think I've opened this box for quite a while, but this is a really, really cool item that I picked up, what, a year and a half ago or so, in the exact spec of my car, the cerulean blue, the navy tinted blue carbon fibre, the gloss black over the top, and all of the specific details as well. Like, for example, where you have the cerulean blue centre locks. The doors are currently closed because it's boxed up, to be taken over soon to the garage, which is going to be very exciting. But let's head over quickly to the model cabinet. Please excuse what I'm going to call the organised chaos of this particular cabinet. It houses all sorts of very random things that eventually will move to the Shmuseum, but we've got more Lego cars up top, we've got bits of memorabilia from various trips and events that I've been to, and of course we've got the growing collection of the 1:18 scale replicas of the Shmeemobiles in reverse chronological order here, from some of the present cars going down through the recent past, all the way back to the first car I ever owned, a Renault Clio, along with a host of other random bits and pieces all inside a cabinet that you might remember when I collected a number of years ago when I took my Ferrari FF over to IKEA. We managed to get this 2-metre tall cabinet into the back of one of those, which was really quite cool to see at the time. But obviously all of the models, some that are missing, you'll notice some absences, some that are still on order, and new ones for the future. But my first car was the trusty 3-door Renault Clio, the silver 1.2 litre car with about 75 horsepower in total, and the car that I recently actually bought back and bought the scrap metal of it. We'll have more updates with that soon, but at the time it wore S17 TJB, which actually stands for my birthday, September 17th. TJB are my initials. The same plate I had also on my 1 Series. This is actually an M Sport 1 Series coupe. I had an SE. I had the choice at the time between the 120D M Sport or the 123D SE in terms of what I could afford, so I went for the engine upgrade instead of the visual body kit. They don't make a model of that. Then we've got the S5 Cabriolet. That was my first, I think, really cool sports car. This is actually the launch colour in Sprint Blue, so I still need to get this one painted in the Audi Sepang Blue that I had, which was a one-off kind of special Audi exclusive in the early days of choosing bespoke colours, so you can see why, to the modern day, I've always been very keen on my different colours. This is a really cool model, the V8 Vantage Roadster. They don't actually make a model V8 Vantage Roadster in this scale, so this was custom made by a model car fabricator, and it's awesome to have that, a total one-off. Then we've got the Mini Countryman, Cooper S all 4 in the white and black, the BMW Z4, that's not the exact spec that I had at the time, and then a car I think that many of you know as one of the first Shmeemobiles, the midnight purple Audi R8 V10 Spider with 87 TB. We had the Abarth 595, I had a convertible, that's a hatch but they don't make the convertible. The McLaren 12C in the famous Shmee blue, the first car to be wrapped at the time in the blue. Then we have a gap because they don't make a Morgan three-wheeler in 1:18 scale. I did manage to source, a big thanks to the help to get this, one of the 650S's, albeit a coupe, not a Spider, in Mantis Green. That was really hard to track down, they did not make many. Then I've got a few long-term cars that I had in the garage, like the BMW M4, and up here there's an X6 which isn't in the cabinet. I do just get it back from being painted though to be in the right colour, so that was Austin Yellow. Then we had a dark red X6, then of course the Blue Crew, this trio, and well, fond memories of that period with the Le Mans Blue FF, the Cerulean Blue 675 LT Coupe, and the Sapphire Blue Cayman GT4, a car that I certainly missed to an extent. Then we have the Abt RS6, one of 12, the 120-year celebration car. We have the Shmini, this was a complete one-off made model as well, really cool. We've got the Blue Focus RS, no 675 LT Spider model, I've never got one. They do exist, so I probably should get one. GT8, bit of a gap, they didn't make one, so I have this instead because that is the only GT8 model that I think exists in the world. Then the Vanquish Volante, the AMG GTR, the original one that I had, the Beast of the Black Hell originally and then wrapped in yellow. Then the GT3, that's changed since we last saw it, obviously now in the Gelbgrün, wearing the Frankfurt German registration that I had on it. I think it was a black model before. We've got the heavily modified red Focus RS, the M5 that I ran for a while, now in Donington Grey, wearing the same plate that it had as well. We've got the Teeth Orange of the Focus RS, we've got the Ford GT with the stripes, and also wearing the BBS wheels as well. I should probably get a Senna model, but in its absence, I've got a bespoke LEGO Speed Champions in the dual tone blue, which is really cool. The GTC Forlasso, which I think is the latest one that I had last time I came over to this cabinet for you guys on video. But then since then, we've had the Jimny, we've had the G63 from Mini Shops, we've had the Supra 890 edition. This would be the AMG GTR Pro, hopefully coming soon. SLS Black Series, the limited run that we did of those, really cool in the Mystic Blue with the silver wheels. Then we've obviously had a few more waiting to be added to this collection, like the GT500, the Taycan Turbo S, the AMG GTR Roadster, the Toyota GR Yaris, and probably a few things in the upcoming future. But up here, just some random things, like for example Skidoni, who make the fitted luggage that I have for the Senna. They also make this, and balsamic vinegar, they make it in-house. Then this is a Shelby GT500 paperweight of the supercharger, exactly the item that they gave us during the first drives of the car, which is really cool. A number of different Ford GT things. This is actually a Christmas tree ornament. Model cars everywhere. This was bought in Death Valley. I had the GT over in Death Valley itself. Don't want that to fall out. Mille Miglia, when I drove that with Mercedes in a 300 SL. Little Golf Mustang GT. We've got the tiny little Mini Shops scale models that we made as well. A couple of other smaller models that have been made, replicas of my cars. The towel, the sweat towel, I guess, from the McLaren Senna launch. The Koenigsegg Jumeirah beer, when they introduced the Jumeirah, and all sorts of random things. And that is just a small sample of the things that I have to display in the Shmuseum, which is why I'm so excited about it. There are a few models that, like I say, aren't here at the moment, and there are a few more being made or being painted, but anything here that's not the right colour is going to be updated to have this full display. I just like to have them a little bit more spread out than they are at the moment, so that's going to be worked on in the near future, as are all the things, for example, like the books that I have here. Some really cool stuff. Ford GT book, Pagani book, an Ayrton Senna book, the Brabus history. There are some amazing things that I've got here. So you can see many of these still need to be read. I'm not even sure if everything that I'm looking at. I'd love to get all of those out as well, when I can have everything properly on display with a home for it all. The reason that I have all of this out at the moment, if you're wondering, is to basically go through it all before I box everything up to take them over to the Shmuseum, where we'll unwrap and presumably have a lot of Lego to build, because I think it would be really cool to have all of these on display. But I also found this one, which is of course the X6 that I mentioned earlier. This is actually a model of an X6M, where I had an X6M 50D, the diesel equivalent with the tri-turbos, but it's painted in the right spec, made as a custom model, so with the dark red, with the dual tone wheels as well. I'm going to leave it boxed because I actually need to box up pretty much everything to safely transport them. These are very delicate, so the last thing I want to do is get things damaged when I take them over to the new storage space and they can find their new homes. When it comes to the Shmuseum though, let's have a quick run through what to expect and when. Now, about a month and a half ago, when I was driving across the USA in the GT500, I stopped at Brian's collection in Kansas, filled with some awesome cars and an amazing garage. Now, at that point, we had just agreed and things were in line to be done with the Shmuseum having found the right space. Now, over the last couple of years, I've been to visit a lot of different types of location, a lot of things that could in some form work, but would have needed a little bit of diversion from what I had planned in my mind, until at the tail end of last year, exactly the right thing came up. Just outside of the city of London, making it easy enough to get there, but far enough away to be out into the countryside roads to go and drive and away from so much of the hustle and bustle, the right space to have supercars, but a little bit larger than I intended, although that gives a lot of opportunities for exactly what I can do with it, and the minds have been running wild of myself and those around who are in on the project, now getting very excited about what we're turning it into. But the space will begin effectively as a shell, roof, walls, doors, lighting and floor, but waiting for everything to be done inside, which is going to be a very exciting opportunity to bring you along as well, particularly with the new Shmuseum channel, to see more behind the scenes of exactly what's going on with the team as we get this place up and running and turned into effectively my dream garage, my dream man cave, with all of the Shmeemobiles together, I think for the first time, or pretty much ever, other than effectively one-off opportunities to make videos, to have all of these things as well, all of the model cars displayed, all of the other bits and pieces, because over the years I've been collecting so much, and this time in isolation I've been going through some of the things that I've got here. Of course, a lot is over at storage, but to have everything like my Segway go-kart that my girlfriend gave me and was wrapped by Dub Customs in cerulean blue, all of the things like the Ford GT ordering kits, the mannequins that I can have wearing race suits, all of the different pictures, paintings and artworks that some of you guys have created of the different journeys and cars and locations and places, and just things that I can't wait to have all together. It's going to be such a walk down memory lane to unpack all of the boxes, to collect everything, to bring everything together, even remember the original body panels from the Senna, the original broken or damaged body panels, even way back from my 675 LT, I've got spare wheels, tyres, being able to have all of this in one place rather than how I do it at the moment where it's all spread out in random storage locations, but crucially, having the cars, having them somewhere where they can go and be driven rather than in a storage facility or something that's slightly more difficult to get to, but also there are just so many ideas flying through my head. So this is all going to happen in the next couple of weeks. In about a month's time, we should be in and up and running, and I don't think I've ever been more excited or probably more overworked trying to do it. Believe me, anything to do with property, particularly commercial property, is a lot more complicated than, well, even buying a car. Buying a Senna is a lot easier than buying or getting involved in any kind of property. So there's a lot of work still to be done in terms of the mezzanine installation, all of the fixtures and finishings, the flooring, the walls, the lifts, the lighting, the security, the detectors, everything. It's a huge, huge, huge project, but some amazing people are helping out. So it's not very far away now. We should also touch on the 3 inbound Shmeemobiles in the next month or two. Now, it all seems to be happening at exactly the same time, but the surprise car is going to be here in just a couple of days, something I've given a small teaser about in this very video, but you'll find out soon exactly what that's going to be. The next is the M3 competition. We saw the car being built. Well, it's now touched down. It's here in the UK, currently going through the PDI. That's the pre-delivery inspection to get it ready for handover, which I think should be in a week or so stay tuned, that's very soon. And then also the AMG GT Black Series, which I believe should be this month. The car was actually built quite a few months ago, but due to the whole supply chain issues during the last year or so, everything seems to be a touch delayed, but hopefully it won't now be all that long until it arrives and it's possible to go and collect it. I'll let you know, of course, when I have some more information about that. Now, further afield, the Hurricane STO will have a full spec update about that, but the car is going to be due towards the later part of 2021, so stay tuned again for that down the line. And well, there might be another surprise or two to let you know about in the not too distant future. So again, stay tuned for all of that news. For now though, I need to pick up a few more model cars for some of the notable omissions, I think, from the collection. Plenty more to find out there, some of the more challenging ones and some that sadly don't exist, but I'm always on the hunt. You never know what might be there. But I've also got something cool to give away to you guys. We're going to be giving away one of these, the LEGO Technic Senna GTR, on the close friends list over on Instagram. So if you aren't already checking that out, make sure to go have a look. I'll pop the information down below where you can see a little bit more from behind the scenes of everything that we're getting up to. Also check out the Cheers by Shmee150 shop where we have this and plenty more available, lots of cool designs, and of course the Shmuseum channel, which will give you a much better view behind the scenes of what's going on. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for watching. As always guys, your support is hugely appreciated, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers!